Me and Marie Bumblebee. Who let the dog out? Who let the dog out? Do you want a dog park? Yeah, all right, baby girl. Hi. If anybody doesn't know me, I'm SG. I've been fighting to get a dog park in Watertown for 6 years, and since last summer I've been fighting the distortions in the dog law that were passed. Recently Watertown's been in an international light because of the roommate law that was passed by council, the one that Drew Carey called council dumbasses, Councilman Smith has been an issue with this project right from the beginning. He went on the Live at 5 show with Glenn Curry, and I called him up, to talk about the dog law and the dog ban, but also, the roommate debacle. I brought, $200,000 donation into the city, which he turned down, and I brought in like almost 700 city residents, which the roommate thing had 80 signatures, and they basically ignored it. And here, let me just play what the councilman had to say on this.
I appreciate. I'm glad he comes to the meetings, but when he talks about $200,000, I don't know what $200,000 he's saying that he was going to give to the council. That never happened. We operate as a majority. Mm-hmm. It was never presented to anybody on the council $200,000. We live in a time where governments are trying to be leaner. We have a county agency, the Jefferson County SPCA, that already has a dog park. Mm-hmm. Why? Yeah, he got 700 signatures. Half of them don't even live in the city or in the state. Mm-hmm. I get it. It's somebody else's dime, though, that they want to pay for this dog park in the city of Watertown that's a duplicative service of a dog park we already got. So am I going to ask the taxpayers of the city of Watertown to pay for another service that another agency already has?
Doesn't matter how many...
Wow. Okay. Now, I don't even know where to start on that, but let's start with the $200,000. Now, I was given that as a donation towards a city dog park. I've had people go, why don't you use it for this, or why don't you use it for that? It was for a city dog park. I took it to the council, and Jeff Smith alone turned it down. He says here it was never offered. Now, that's all on tape. All city council meetings are taped. So that whole transaction was on tape, and we had subsequent arguments, which I'll get into here. He says he doesn't want to duplicate a service or whatever. Now, SPCA has a small dog park. I'm working with them right now to make that better, but that's not a duplication of services. If you had half an ice arena, these are hockey guys, so I'm going to use hockey analogies here. If you had half an ice arena on the edge of town and wanted a full one, you wouldn't be happy with that, and yet you're not even happy with the full one you have. You keep trying to get a second ice arena, so you're already trying to duplicate your own services, but you diminish ours by saying we already have something we don't. The $200,000 after it was turned down, we had a huge argument at a meeting because Councilman Smith wanted $40,000 of your taxpayer dollars to do a survey if we needed a second sheet of ice. Now, we'd already turned down $200 free money, but he wants $40,000 for his hockey endeavors. And then you get to the petitions. I had, everybody saw me out for a year and a half collecting signatures. Now, when I first started, I just asked for city resident signatures, and then people were upset. They were like, oh, I want to sign too. Well, okay, here's a non-resident one. And I submitted those just as, like, these are people that don't live in the city that are still interested in the dog park, but it wasn't something that he could use against me later on, telling me over half of my signatures. I mean, we had close to 700 signatures that were city residents. Now, this roommate law that they passed, or whatever you want to call it, had 80 signatures, but it had a name. It had somebody that supposedly helped their campaigns, and so they acted on that. But ours are just like waved off. That's not right. Council is made us look a fool to the world, with the roommate thing. Now, what do you think the world's going to think of an anti-dog town? And that brings me to the dog ban. There was an attack at the farmer's market. Now, it's been established that the parents weren't watching their kid, and obviously the dog owner wasn't watching the dog as well as he should have been. didn't need a dog law passed if you know, if it was supposed to be so events had the option if they wanted dogs. Events always have the option if they want dogs. If you see an event that says no dogs, you don't bring your dog. That's just the way people are. Now, so they said they were going to pass this, you know, so they had a choice. But once it passed, they distorted it, and now dogs aren't allowed at any events in Watertown. We're talking socialization. Dogs need to be socialized. If you can't take them to events, and they won't give us a dog park to socialize, what do they expect these dogs in the future are going to have for behavioral problems? Now, they also put in there that dogs aren't allowed at schools or near playgrounds. Teachers have come up to me and said, I used to bring my dog in to teach kids how to interact with dogs. This is an important skill for people to teach their kids, yet parents don't seem to be teaching it. If teachers can't be, and not all parents, don't get me wrong, but you know, when I went to the farmer's market with my dog Mia, you know, so many kids would just run up and try to grab her, and you know, I'd have to teach them the proper way to approach a dog. You know, if the kids aren't learning these skills, if we're taking that away, if we're taking the socialization of dogs away, there are going to be more problems in the future. You know, Watertown City Council has an anti-dog agenda, whether they want to admit it or not. I'm going to the April 1st meeting. I already have some people coming. I would like to invite you to come. It's April Fool's Day. It's like going to Mecca at this point, I think. So please join me April 1st, 7 o'clock sharp. That's when we get up and say our piece. You know, last council I wrote an 8-page letter. They ignored us. I think it's time that we just, you know, tell them the way it is in Watertown. And if not, November election, Councilman Smith and Macalusa are up for re-election. I hope somebody runs. I'll be in Georgia by then. Thanks. Bye.